Hello and welcome to the Lost Spark podcast, and we're your hosts. I'm Antony Chesson, and the other spark on the podcast is Darren Whittam. This is episode 1, and we're recording this on the 13th of May 2015. Darren, say hello and introduce who we are.
Hi everyone. That's Tony Chesson, as he just said. I'm Darren Whittam, and we're here to bring you Gamers of the Lost Spark podcast. We are two seasoned gaming enthusiasts. We've decided to put the gaming industry to rights. We've got fed up with the cynicism within the industry and the fanboys all raving on all the comment sections and all the forums online, and we thought, let's put something positive out there. Let's put something constructive out there. We're sure we can do it, so we've got together and we've decided to deliver this to you, the listener. Our mission is to deliver regular weekly podcasts to yourselves, debating the news, controversies, latest tech, and of course the games of the moment, the future, and even yesteryear, so we'll have a bit of retro magic there as well. We believe firmly in an honest, objective, and unbiased approach to our content, as we constructively will dismantle and then rebuild in pure Spark form all the aspects of gaming that we talk about. Tune in for this, and hopefully we'll have a few laughs down the road as well as we debate the huge scope and variety that is our favourite pastime. So, let's get into it, and we'll start with what we've been playing this week. So, do you want to kick that off, Anthony?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this week I've been mostly playing Borderlands, the pre-sequel, since that came out on Xbox One, on the next-gen consoles. I've been kind of playing that, because I didn't get to the pre-sequel when it first came out on Xbox 360 and PS4, so I waited until Xbox One, so I'm now kind of playing that, co-oping with the wife. It's good fun, it's great, it looks great. There's an occasional frame rate drop, but apart from that, it's looking really good. It's looking really good. So I'm loving that. My commute as well this week has been really it's been shovel night. I've just been on the train. I kind of have about an hour a day kind of each way, and I've just been playing shovel night completely. And it's quite funny how that just kind of sucks up your time, before you kind of look up and you're at your stop, or as I nearly did on Wednesday, or past my stop. So it's just absolutely fantastic. Have you played that yet, Darren?
I haven't played Shovel Knight, but I have got my eye on it. I do love a bit of retro gaming, and it gets really good ratings. In fact, I was looking at Metacritic the other day just to see where things lie. It was after the Witcher reviews were up. It was yesterday, in fact. And I thought, let's just check where the Witcher's standing in the standings. And Shovel Knight, I think, was number 2.
It's very good. It's really good. It just kind of makes me think of DuckTales. There's lots of kind of jumping on enemies to get to another platform.
Yeah, he uses the shovel like the pogo stick, doesn't he? Is that right?
It really does, yeah. I mean, there's lots of there's been a couple of areas where you've been like, there's anger, but you just kind of keep going, and it's just fantastic. It looks amazing. I've also done it's cross-play, cross-buy, so I've also downloaded it on the PS4. I haven't fired it up yet, but I'm going to have a check it out on there as well.
Yeah, you've got it there for when you need it. I was going to ask you, Borderlands the pre-sequel. You see, I only played Borderlands 1 on 360, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Is pre-sequel is that the Telltale style game?
No, pre-sequel is Gearbox. It's Gearbox Australia, but it's kind of it takes place between Borderlands and Borderlands 2, and it follows kind of Handsome Jack.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah.
It's amazing. It's set in space. They kind of add a little element, which is kind of oxygen. So you have an oxygen meter as well that can run out. You have to go and grab it. But it's it's typical kind of Borderlands. Lots of guns, lots of loot, and it's just funny. I really enjoy it. But I'm really enjoying the Telltale. Speaking of that, I'm really enjoying the Telltale stuff as well. They've brought out I think about 2 episodes already, and they're just hilarious. I have a big love for all of the Telltale games, but I must admit I think the Borderlands games are kind of up there. They're up there. They're just amazing and incredibly funny.
Yeah, I think they're supposedly the funniest ones, actually. From what I've read, I haven't played them. They're supposed to be the best ones. I mean, you probably can't beat Walking Dead for the emotional engagement, but just for a bit of fun, it's a really well polished piece of storytelling from what I've read. So you'd be able to corroborate that, because I haven't played them. I got Walking Dead. I completed episode 1 of Walking Dead, even though I bought all of them, season 1, and I've just never got time. I've never got round to playing the rest. Now I haven't got them anymore, really, because I'd have to get my 360 out to do it. And I sort of feel I've missed the boat on it. So, and there's Game of Thrones, isn't there, as well? I think that have they got some sort of basic template and they can just say, right, this is the basic story, and it spits out another game in that engine or something, because they seem to be able. And haven't they recently signed up with Lionhead or something to do more games?
No, they've signed up with Minecraft. So there's a Minecraft one coming out later, and they've just announced that they're also doing Marvel as well. So as well as Game of Thrones, they've got Borderlands. They did the Wolf Among Us, which was incredible. So it's just non-stop. I must admit, I'm playing them both. I played them on the 360. I've also played them on Xbox One, and the engine's looking a little bit tired. They could do with just refreshing that engine, but it's just an amazing game. I absolutely love them. I think with the Telltale games, it's kind of always best to just sit down, kind of clear your schedule for a little bit, and then just play that episode in one go, in just one chunk, as if it's a movie, as if it's some time. And I just absolutely love them. I just think they're very good.
Yeah, I think they are doing a Hunger Games Telltale game, from what I can see. Lionsgate has invested in Telltale.
Oh yes, there was a whole TV. That's it. There was a whole TV show. There's a whole kind of deal with Lionsgate. No, you're right.
It's from a while ago, though.
See, that's why I need you. See, to put me right.
This is from February, so it's not really recent or anything. But yeah, well, they're just growing. I think maybe with this investment, I think maybe on the slide they'll have a little team, maybe beavering away, making a new engine to deliver these storylines in a more sparkly way.
Yes. And after that, the other thing I've been playing this week has been Project Cars. Now, Project Cars, I've been following Project Cars for a long time. For me, I'm a bit of a car buff. I love car games, and put Project Cars on. I was quite excited. I was tweeting about it. This is my Friday night. Put it on for about 2 hours, and it's not Project Cars, it's me, but the oversteer or the understeer, and it's just, I'm braking and I'm flying into corners. It frustrated me so much that I just had to stick Forza Horizon on just to calm myself down. And so Project Cars, I'm gonna keep cracking at it. I'm not gonna give up, because it does look lovely on the Xbox One, But yeah, it's a bit of a strange one. It's a bit of a bittersweet one for me. But like I say, I'm going to have another go at the weekend and maybe kind of drop it down a class or something and try see if I can control those cars on the corners. But the last game I've been playing just to make me feel good has been Forza Horizon 2, because that game just soothes me. It's just soothing. Kind of driving around the Italian and French countryside in those cars. I just absolutely love it. So it's been very cool.
So a bit of a learning curve for you on Project Cars then.
Yeah,
you need to just invest the time to learn to adjust to that new sort of control. But are you playing on a pad?
I am indeed. Yeah, I was thinking about, because I like I like the way it looks. I love that there's about 150 tracks. I was thinking, I did tweet out to a few people, and they said, you best get a steering wheel, because you get a steering wheel, it will be much better, it'll be easier to handle. So I might just invest in a steering wheel.
It's all about the wheel, apparently, isn't it? It's all about the wheel. It's been optimised for the wheel, and the news stories that I've been reading have been saying, Project Cars, it's a nightmare on a pad. People are not happy. They're echoing exactly your sentiments there. But if you've got a pad, you're happy. I haven't seen it. I haven't read anything about it either. It's not really been one of the things I'm focusing on, because I'm not a fanatical racing game lover, but I do like a good racing game. I mean, I got all the Project Gothams, MSR on Dreamcast, Project Gothams on Xbox, and I what else? I don't know. Other ones that have come and gone. I never got into Forza, but I did download the Need for Speed. Free demo thing. It was pretty cool. But I got Drive Club, because I always like to have one racer, a go-to racing game. And I got Drive Club once it had been patched, and I picked it up for about £20, and I thought, I'll give it a go. And I knew that it had all been patched. And something, it's a beautiful looking game. Really like it. But maybe it's a bit more test drive for me, a bit too serious. I prefer my sort of Project Gotham arcade racing, keeping the drifts going. And Drive Club's got a bit of that. But I don't know, maybe I'm just getting rubbish at car games. But it's amazing, the rain hits your windscreen, and it looks fantastic. It's amazing. But the trouble, I lose out on a lot of these car games, because I don't like the sort of in-car view. I always have the third person, or the third car, if you like, view. And you miss a lot of the fidelity, don't you, the effort that they've put into the game, because I'm not looking at all the dials and everything. It's like, oh wow, let's have a look what it's like inside a Ferrari. But I don't really get to see that, because I just get to see the shiny paint job from the camera above the car. Do you have the in-car view?
I am, yeah. I'm a bit of I guess, purist because I think they introduced it in one of the Forzas, and I am in car. I love that. It's in Project Cars. There's a lot of damage and stuff, and sometimes it does obscure your view, but it looks amazing. When you're kind of in there, you kind of feel, especially in like Forza games, you kind of feel that speed when you're kind of behind the wheel. It's amazing. I think it was Forza that kind of introduced that. It might have been Grid, but it's just fantastic, and now that is my go-to view.
Wow! Well, all power to you for sort of learning that, because I've never had the patience. I do really like it, but I just can't play it that way.
Yeah.
Or maybe, I don't know. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. Wipeout 2097, I had the outside view, and that's the view I had ever since.
Oh yes, absolutely. God, that was such a good game. So, what have you been playing this week? What have you been?
So what have I done this week? Moment, I'm playing on Spelunky, which I think is a fantastic game. There's actually a news story that broke on Spelunky the other day, that the speedrun record has been broken. It did stand at 1 minute 55 seconds and 353 hundredths of a second.
What?
If that's a millisecond, is a hundredth of a second a millisecond? I think so it is.
Wow.
And that was from speedrunner Pibonacci. I think that's how you say it. And that was last July, but on the 7th of May, or just around that date, a new guy, Spelunky God, has bested that by over 8 seconds. There's a new speed record of 1 minute 47 seconds, .182, which is just amazing. I mean,
wow.
It's a hard game, It's a very hard game. I remember that when I couldn't get past the first... to complete the game, you've got to do 4 sets of 4 levels. Mm-hmm. And when I first started, I couldn't do the first 4. It was just so hard, because it's Shovel Knight procedurally generated, so it's different every time.
I don't think so. I don't think it is, because as you're kind of going through. I'm only kind of on my first playthrough, so you're going through a map, you're going to different dungeons, and I seem to be replaying those as well.
Oh, okay. So it's not a roguelike in that respect, then.
No,
okay.
No.
Well, Spelunky's a roguelike, and it's different all the time, and I loved it because it was like old school and it was hardcore, but in the way that it was just completely, utterly merciless. It looks all pretty and cute, but it belies a black heart. So I've been trying to get all the trophies on it because I was playing it on my 360 for ages, and then I played it and I liked it, and then I just discarded it. And then I was reading on the web one day, and I saw this headline, and it was like, wow, Spelunky Bananasaurus Rex does an eggplant run on Spelunky, and a solo eggplant run, and we never thought this could be done. And I was like, what's that mean? What is an eggplant run? I don't know what that is. But I had seen the eggplant, or aubergine as we should call it, in Spelunky, and I didn't know what to do with it, as did no one else. So I started reading up about it, and there's this object in the game, the eggplant, and it was completely useless. And when it came out on PC, the PC-wise people started hacking in and having a look at the code and stuff, and they discovered some art, and it showed the end of game baddie. Not the normal end of game baddie, but if you do it the hard way, there's another end game. And it showed him, or it might have been a bit of text, and it showed this guy with a purple face, and it might have said something like, I don't know, eggplant run or something like that, I don't know. But basically they said, it's something to do with the guy at the end of the game. So they needed to prove this, they needed to get to the end of the game with this item that was useless. Now you can only carry one thing at a time in the game, and this thing, if it gets touched or dropped too far, it just explodes and dies. So it's really difficult to actually get the eggplant to the end of the game. It's just a ridiculous task, and it was actually designed for 2-player co-op to be able to do it. Anyway, so somebody got it to the end of the game, and they threw it at the end boss, and it made the end boss a one hit. You can just he turns purple into like a big aubergine. He's allergic to him or something. This is is Yama, the king of hell, and you throw the eggplant in his face, and he goes purple and bloated, and then you can just whip him once, and he'll die. And if you don't do that, it's quite difficult to defeat him. So they discovered that's what the purpose of it was, and it's like, wow, nobody ever knew that. And then it was like, okay, that's great. So let's try and do it. So people started to try and do this, and then one guy, the sequence of events you need to do to actually get that to the end is far more difficult than just killing him without it. But it's sort of a gauntlet that's been laid down by the developers, I suppose. So anyway, this guy worked out a way to do it single manned rather than co-op, and he put it. It's on YouTube. If you look up Bananasaurus Rex eggplant run, you can watch it. It takes about an hour and a half. But I watched this, and to do this, and to get to the end that he got to, see, I thought the end of it was like you did at the end of level 4-4, where there's this big golden idol bouncing around called Olmec. And I was like, oh yeah, that's the end. But it's not. If you do all these other different things through the levels, you can unlock an extra set of 4 levels after Olmec. And what you do there, you jump off his head into a gateway by doing all these other convoluted things that I won't go into now. And then you can get to Hell, and then you can get to Yama. So once I saw that, I was like, oh wow, I haven't done that. I didn't even know about that on Spelunky. So I was like, right, let's fire Spelunky up. And then I had my mission. It was like, right, let's just try and get to Hell. So anyway, then I got rid of my 360. But then when I bought my PS4, it was a PS Plus free game. So I thought, oh wow, I could have another go now. And that has been really taking up a lot of my time for far too long. So, summing up, yeah, I'm playing Spelunky. My speedrun time, you get the trophy on this, it's called Spelunky. And to get the trophy, you've got to complete the game in under 8 minutes. And I did it in just under 5.5 minutes, and I was so amazed at myself. I was like, woohoo! Really happy.
Wow.
It's a shame it's sort of not more well known. I might get some more kudos about it. So I was happy with that. But when I saw this, 1 minute 55, and what's the new one? 1 minute 47. And I was just like, well, it's just ridiculous. But yeah, so I'm playing that. I've got one more trophy to do. I've got to Hell. I've defeated King Yama. I've done the Spelunky thing. My last trophy is to collect 500,000 gold. And you know something?
Right.
You got to change your play styles on it. To get to Hell, I had to be really careful and just careful and cautious all the way. For the speed run, obviously you have to throw caution to the wind a little bit and run through, as quickly as you can. Now, to go back to this collecting the treasure one, I've done it in the wrong order, but I didn't realise. The speed run has made me worse. Training myself to whiz through the game, it's like I'm not seeing stuff anymore, and I'm going through hell trying to get it. I'm getting so angry. So I'm playing that and enjoying it. I'd recommend anybody who likes a challenge and a good old school fair game, go for Spelunky. It's a bit like, Demon Souls and what have you in the way that it's your fault if you die, really. It's very rare that you'll die by a fluke. The game's designed so well. It's not that, he walked too many spaces because that's the way he's designing the game. It's your own fault. If you don't look before you leap, you can die. And the comedy of errors, that if you just get hit by the wrong thing, you can then bounce into a mine and then get bounced into a man-eating plant. You're just like, So yeah, Spelunky is one game I'm playing. And I tell you something, the reason I'm going on about it is I've got a lot of frustration pent up about this game. I need to get this trophy so I can move on.
You need to get it out. You need to get all that spelunkiness out.
The real reason for this podcast, it's not Gamers of the Lost Spark. It's just Daz getting Spelunky out of my system.
It's just so you can talk Spelunky.
Yeah, I never had a forum or an outlet before. This is a year. So Spelunky. I'm also playing Bloodborne on PS4.
Right.
Spelunky's PS4 as well now. Bloodborne on PS4, which has been out for a few weeks now. Absolutely love Bloodborne. It's fantastic in its sort of beautiful bleakness. It's just beautiful. It's such a good game. What can I say about it? At the moment, I've got up to an area where the last time I played it, I got up to a new area, and it's just so scary when you're in a new area, because you've got to be so cautious. A bit like Spelunky, really. And I'm inching my way forward, and I started to think, I was like, oh wow, this is great. I've got the measure of this now. And then I walked into a lake, and the lake started to poison me. And there's nowhere to go apart from through the lake. And I was just like, oh my goodness me, this is difficult. And I got hit by a rock that was thrown by a giant that basically threw me into the poison water, and I got swamped by loads of horrid, squiddy, poisony things, and lost about 50 or 60,000 souls. And I was just like, oh no! So you know what? I just said, right, I'm parking it there because I needed to recover. So I think it's called Bergenworth is the level I'm up to there. I've just killed Ron, the vacuous spider, And I love it, I love the fact that it's just so hard, but it's sort of love-hate relationship with it, like all the other games. And with all the games, I think I've felt, I can't carry on, it's too hard. But then when you're not playing it, it gets under your skin. It gets, and you're like, right, you think about it, and you're like, I wonder if I just try this. And then you go back and you get better, and you defeat a boss, and you just like, you get to a new area, and the feeling of achievement is immense, but it's coupled with the feeling of terror about, how the nightmare that's coming up for you as well. So I'm really enjoying Bloodborne. I haven't completed it yet. I will complete it, like I have done with the others. But I'm not saying it's harder for me, but I always play them through blind first of all, so I don't go on the wikis and things and find out
right
and where you should go and in the correct order to play it. So I'm probably not doing it in the right order, but. The thing with that is in the game, there's no hand holding at all, which is refreshing. And then when you get what you wish for, you think, bloody hell, I wouldn't mind an arrow or something. I wouldn't mind a marker on the map.
So you can't play co-op or anything like that. You can't get someone to kind of jump in. I know, was it Demon Souls or Dark Souls?
No, you can do that actually. Yeah, you can do that the same. It's just that, and I did that. I think on Dark Souls 2, I summoned somebody on every boss pretty much, and I was
right.
just like. Yeah, that's the way you play the game, that's allowed in the game, within the constraints of the game. If you can summon, jobs are good, and I'll summon, and you can help me with the twin gargoyles, because they're a massive pain. But I don't know, my gamer's pride has grown, and I'm like, right, if you're a hardcore Souls fan, you should really be able to do it on your own. So there's me, just on my own. I put myself out there and helped other people defeat a boss, because you can put a sign up that says, well, you ring a bell in Bloodborne, and it says that you're basically advertising yourself that you'll help if somebody rings a bell to ask for help. So I've done that, but I've not had help from a beckoning bell.
Right.
And I don't know, maybe I'll have to let the pride go, but we will see. So I'm working my way through that and Spelunky at the moment.
So can you, with the people that you summon in Bloodborne, can you talk to them, or is it a bit like Journey, where they're kind of a silent assistant?
Yeah, it's like Journey and like Demon Souls and Dark Souls 1 and 2, in that it's just gesture based. So you can there's a bit of etiquette. You sort of bow. It's nice to bow to each other.
Has it got a dance move like Destiny?
It's sort of got a fist pump and things like that. If you do certain things in the game, you get awarded with gestures. So some people, there are some funny ones around. And also, as well as co-op, it's jolly co-op that you can do. You can also invade other players as well, just like the previous games. So you can put yourself up for invading, and there'll be certain levels where it's sort of a PvP, and then so other people can get summoned into your world and will just hunt you down and try and take you out. And you can put yourself up to go and invade other worlds as well. But I haven't really. I feel it's weird because I put a load of hours into it, but it's one of those games that I feel like I'm only just touching the tip of the iceberg with it, really.
Yes, yeah.
And I'm a bit concerned because The Witcher's coming out, and I'm gonna move on to The Witcher. But the thing about Bloodborne, it's a bit like Dark Souls. If I do shelve it, I'm going to keep that game forever, I imagine. I will be able to go back to it and just pick it up and play it, and I will get to the end. But it's a fantastic game, and it's good to see it on next gen. For me, it's the first PS4 proper. Well, is it the first PS4 exclusive anyway? But it's certainly the first next gen-ish game for me. I can't think of another game to match it.
That's fantastic. It's fantastic when you get kind of a game like that. I think they did have there has been some exclusive, hasn't there, in the PS4, but it's been a long time coming. It was that and The Order that got kind of moved to this year, and I definitely think that Bloodborne is. I finished through The Order, but it was just one of those ones where you kind of play it, and then you just kind of trade it in because I don't think there's any DLC or anything like that. But no, Bloodborne just looked very sexy, but I just. I don't know. I don't know if I had the kahunas to play it, and also I was trying to clear my clear the decks for Witcher 3 as well, because I can't wait to get into that.
It's hard when you've got a backlog, and it does test your mettle, and it's a proper investment.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've got to sit there and you're bloody concentrating, as much as you can. But it pays you. It pays off with the achievement of defeating some awful, disgusting, horrific, shambling boss that you never thought in your wildest dreams you could even imagine, never mind defeat in a game. It's really fantastic. Yeah, I mean, that is the only game. Oh, The Order. Oh, what a disappointment that was. I mean, talk about just a pretty face. You've heard of Not Just a Pretty Face, but yeah, Just a Pretty Face. Let's examine the doorknob, and that's pretty good. Yeah, I found it a slog. I found it a real slog, And I'm a graphics tart, but it's got to be underpinned by some substance.
Yeah, it's just a what's name, isn't it? It's that let's get the first game out. The second one will be better. I quite like that. I quite like the setting. Assassin's Creed is kind of almost in that setting as well. We're probably about 20 years before the Order, the new Assassin's Creed, which we'll get to a bit in the news section. But yeah, it was just have a quick romp through it, and like I say, I finished it and then just traded it in. So, but it was, I have a feeling, it's going to be a franchise. It did sell well, so the second one, let's hope, will be better. They have co-op, probably multiplayer. Who knows? I guess we'll find out at E3. They'll probably tease it. They may tease it at E3, or it might just be too early for that. No, I was just going to say. So, have you been playing anything else?
Yeah, Splatoon Global Fire Test was live on, was it Saturday?
It was, yes.
So I didn't get up. I played it from 12 to 1 UK time. Didn't get up for the 4 a.m. I think the other one was midnight. Or was it 9 till 10? Anyway, I played the 12 till 1. And I liked it. It was a good game. It worked. It all worked swimmingly well. I downloaded it. You could download it in advance. There it was, waiting on the Wii. The Wii U notified me that it was available. It's really good, So it was there waiting. Then at 1 o'clock, they were very prompt. Off it went. It's a third-person shooter game. A little bit, I suppose, the best way to describe it may be a bit like Plants vs Zombies: Garden Warfare,
right,
in a way. It's really colourful, and it's really. The controls are great, apart from I had a bit of a problem with the aiming, and you can change this, but I stuck with it because I always think that the default controls are the way that a game should be played, apart from inversion. I invert. But usually I leave the buttons alone because I think, the designers have thought about this. But what you do, so you move with the left stick, as you'd expect, and the right stick really is only for rotating, 360 or whatever, rotating around.
Yeah.
But to actually aim, you don't use like up and down on the right stick. You use the like gyroscope in the Wiimote.
Oh, okay.
The Wiimote or on the Wii U pad. So you're holding it, so you sort of got it at a 45-degree angle, and you're looking at the screen and you're moving around in that. But so actually home in your target, you move the pad, and that's how you do it. And at first I was just like, this is ridiculous. It's not too bad. I think that with some practice, it could be okay.
But can it be played with a Pro controller? Because I've got a Pro controller that I use for Mario Kart and also for Zelda, the Wind Waker. So can you use a Pro controller with Splatoon?
I don't know for sure because I only played with the Wii U pad.
Right.
But I would say that you can because you can turn the gyroscope controls off and you can have it normal.
But like I say, it's a nice little add-on to just kind of play around with for the first couple of games and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, and then so basically you go through a tutorial, and what you've got to do in the game is there's a big map. It's not about just it's not really about killing each other. You've got 4 people to a team, so you've got 2 teams on a map, and the idea is to cover the map with your colour of ink. So all your guns splat out ink, and you can just cover every surface and all the floor in your colour. So if you say, I don't know, purple versus yellow, and you're purple, you've got a map on the pad, on the display on the actual pad, and that shows the map and it shows as it's being covered in real time.
Right.
So you can see who's winning. Obviously, by just defeating your opponents, you can cover more space. So there is that aspect, but it's all that counts to win is to cover more of the map in your colour. And it's really good. You get on the play test. Basically, you went through a tutorial that showed you the basics. That's a cool thing as well. So once you've sprayed some paint around the floor, it's all over the place. And you can turn into a squid. So you're a normal person running around and shooting. But as you shoot, your paint depletes. So what you need to do to refill your paint, you need to turn into a squid. So you press, I think it's like the left trigger, and you turn into a squid and you submerge into the paint. When you're a squid, you can't shoot, but you can swim really quickly through anything that's covered in your paint, including up walls and things. And while you're a squid, also your paint replenishes.
Right. Okay.
So you could sort of like you shoot a load of paint down in a bit like Mario Sunshine used to spray the floor and then slide. So in fact, I think maybe they got some of the idea about this from Mario Sunshine, because I was playing a bit of Mario Sunshine this week, and the spray mechanic is quite similar. So I think maybe they had this idea back then. But anyway, I digress. So you spray all the paint down, then you can jump into it, go quick, and then jump out of it, transform, and sort of pop up and take out all the enemies. And you're really hard to see when you're a squid. So that's really cool. And yeah, so you go through the tutorial. It shows you all this. As a person, you can run and jump and shoot the paint, and you can turn into a squid. And as a squid, you're faster, and you're sort of in stealth mode really. And you get more paint. Your paint replenishes. And then once you've gone through the tutorial, it allows you to join a game. So it's it only had one mode that was open, and that was just basically like about covering the map. So there was going to be more modes on it. So you got to pick a weapon, and there was a sniper paint gun, which was really rubbish for anything except just staying still and camping and hitting people from afar. And then there was two kinds of gun: a mini gun and a big gun, which sort of like a shotgun really. And then there was the roller. And I'd sort of woken up in the morning and had a little read about it, and it said, oh yeah, the roller's the weapon of choice on this. So I didn't even try the others, I just tried the roller, and the roller is like a big old paint roller. And you can just run along the floor, just covering, like the entire corridors full of paint straight away. And you can also sort of melee attack with it as well. So I was being a guy with a roller, and yeah, it was cool, it was good fun. I sort of won probably 50% of the games I played about 6 games. It was good fun. They purposely have not got any chat switched on, and there won't be any chat in the finished game. The reason Nintendo have given for that is they don't want people calling each other names in their games.
They don't want any colourful language.
They don't want any colourful language. Ruining. It'll clash with the colourful game, wouldn't it? Yeah. Yeah. So
are you gonna? Have you pre-ordered? Are you gonna buy it?
Well,
I've already pre-ordered. I saw when they announced it. I saw it, and I was just like, I've got to get some of this, and it just looks so much fun. So I think because it comes out at the end of this month, doesn't it?
It does. It comes out on the 29th, which is a Friday, isn't it? Yeah, Friday release on the 29th. Yeah. I haven't pre-ordered it, and I'm not going to buy it because I don't know. I've become too fussy, too discerning.
Right.
For me, on a gamer's principle, there's not enough content in that game, from what I've read, to justify a full price game. I think it's probably, if all it is an online blaster, which I think it is, I think it shouldn't be like 40 quid. I think it should be 25 or something like that, and then I'd probably give it a shot. But I don't think there's a full price game in there.
It's about £30, isn't it? I think it's on Amazon. I think they're doing it for about £30. I think that's kind of what my pre-order's in, about £29, something like that.
Oh, okay.
So it is. I just see it as one of those ones where you kind of quick dip in, when maybe a break from The Witcher or something, quick dip in, maybe when I'm listening to a podcast or something like that, and just kind of have a play with it and just have a blast and just kind of. A bit like Mario Kart, it's just like one of those quick kind of fun games, and Nintendo just do that so well, don't they?
Yeah, they certainly do. But yeah, the thing with me, I completely agree with that. But for me, because it's online, I can't just dip in because I'll be rubbish. You know how good everyone's going to be.
Yes.
And it's like, oh yeah, I'll just have a quick relax and go on Splatoon. It's like,
you'll be raging at a game that's all happy and paint on the screen, but inside you'll be raging.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a good introduction to games like that for kids and stuff as well. And it's really playable. The controls are really sweet. The netcode works perfectly. Every game just works. I just found 2 teams when we were on. And considering that's a beta compared to some of these games that have come out like Battlefront. And what have you. It's a good thing, but yeah, I think I'm going to be too busy with The Witcher, and then I've got Batman, so I've got no room. I've got no room for Splatoon. I can't do it.
Indeed. Well, I've pre-ordered, but I did resist the cute amiibo version because they've got a Splatoon Plus amiibo version, and I did resist that. I have dipped in. I must admit, I'm going to buy one amiibo, and that's going to be that woolly Yoshi. I need that. I need that in my games room. But apart from that, I'm staying away from those Splatoon amiibos.
Did you not get a Rosalina amiibo?
No. I've actually, if I go into game or if I go into a store, I just ignore the amiibo side. And when I'm online, I just don't look at them because I know, I've got cupboards full of Disney Infinity figures, and I've got rid of my Skylanders, thankfully. And I'm going crazy for Lego Dimensions. Just those little kind of figures. There's something inside me that just needs those figures. So I'm staying away from the amiibos.
Wow, strong man.
Strong man. So, right. So that's kind of what we've been playing. So should we get on to some news items? So the news that's been kind of happening this week.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, well, kicking it off, the first one is Gears of War Ultimate Edition has been spotted. So, Brazilian ratings board have posted Gears of War Ultimate Edition. Now, this seems to be just Gears of War 1 for the Xbox One, probably running at 1080p, 60 frames a second. It doesn't look like we're going to get that kind of Master Chief Collection treatment, like a Marcus Phoenix edition, but we're definitely going to get a 1080p, 60 frames. Potentially, kicking off the whole kind of Gears of War that we're getting next year. So, no date, no release date yet, but we could see something at E3, maybe kind of this is the trailer for Gears of War 4, and out today is the definitive edition, download only or something like that. So I'm excited because I do like a bit of Gears of War. I do like a bit of kind of chunky men running around with guns and chainsaws. So I do enjoy it. I always play co-op as well with my wife, who kind of strangely likes Gears of War and chuckles a lot when she does a sniper rifle shot. Scares me a little bit, but it's good fun. It's good fun. So that was kind of the first piece of news.
Yeah, it's a good way to garner some interest for new Gears of War. Cliffy B's not there anymore though. He's left, hasn't he?
He has indeed, but they've still got Craig Ferguson, who is the Gears Viking. He left to do just not Dishonored. He left to do another game, and then he came back. He's now come back, and he's now running that studio that's looking after Gears of War. So they're in good hands, I think.
I think it's great for people that haven't played Gears of War. It'd have to be pretty special for me to get it. But I was banging to Gears when it came out. The only bad thing, I think, well, it's not a bad thing yet because we don't know, but Horde mode didn't come in until 2 or 3, did it?
Yeah, I think it was either 2 or 3. Yeah, they kind of had a Horde mode, and then they revised it for Gears of War 3, where you could start putting up fortifications and things like that.
Yeah, so I think it'd be really nice if we could have a Horde mode in.
Yes. It's like, here's all the multiplayer maps, here's Horde mode, and here's the story, just to kind of set the scene. Maybe Gears of War 4 is a prequel, or maybe it just kind of follows on from there. But it would be great to just kind of get a bit of a Horde running at 1080p, 60 frames. But maybe they will include that in the new game next year.
Yeah. That's maybe why they hold it back. Yeah. Well, it'll be good, and I'd love to see all singing, all dancing, proper next gen Gears. It'd be really cool because that broke the mold when Gears 1 came out. That was a game changer for me on 360. It was sort of like, wow, I've stepped it up. This is a step forward. This Gears of War. I got a red ring of death actually on my Xbox. I was gutted, but it was under warranty, so it has a happy ending. But yeah, I thought, wow, that amazed me, that game. I was really like, wow, look at this. This is the future.
Yes, absolutely, and I think it just got better. Graphical. It's quite funny. I was playing Gears of War 3. I fired up my old 360 the other day and just hadn't played Gears of War 3 with my nephews, and because that's I'm a responsible uncle. So we were playing Gears of War 3, and I was just really surprised at how good that game looked. And it still does hold its own on a big TV, and it looks nice. So any update to that is a definite for me.
Yeah, and just on a tangent there, you mentioning that. I mentioned that I'd had a go on Super Mario Sunshine this week, and the reason for that is that I went to a games exhibition, and they had a cosplay masquerade, and while that was going on, I needed my son, who's 4, to be occupied, and there was like rows and rows and rows of tables with all like retro consoles on and things, everything from the old Atari 2600 and before, all the way up to GameCube, PS1s, PS2s, Acorn Electrons, BBC Micros, all sorts of things. And anyway, one of them had Mario Sunshine on, and he knows about Mario anyway from Super Mario 3D World. So I plonked him there, and he was quite happy playing it. And I sort of like, "Did you like this, Sam?" And he's like, "Yeah, I liked it." So I dug out the GameCube when I got home and wired it up to my projector, thinking it was going to be really awful to look at. And I must say, it holds up really well.
Wow.
It holds up so well. It looks better than I hooked up the Wii to an HD system, and even with the progressive cables, it still looked really washed out. The GameCube, it looks really good, just on a normal RGB. So then I was like, I've got to get a component cable. But I didn't realise this, but the GameCube component cable is very rare. You can't just get one for £6 off eBay. They're about $100 to $200 because they only made a few. Because in the days of the GameCube, nobody really had a HD TV.
No, of course.
And the upscaling bit, the chip that does it, was actually built into the cable rather than in the GameCube itself. So I was like, okay, I won't bother with that. But it didn't really matter because I've had a go. And it's a good game. It's surprising how well it holds up, And I just thought I could play this again. It looks really clear, and it makes me think that the graphics for Super Mario 3D World haven't moved on that much. But I mean, what can you do with Mario? You could argue it is obviously better. But I tell you something, in 2002, it was pretty damn good already. I just thought I'd add that. GameCube's pretty good on an HD telly with a normal cable. So if you've got one,
nice.
There's a lot of good games on it. There's a lot of good games. Rogue Leader I was playing. I was loving that.
Absolutely, I've still got my GameCube. That's still in storage. Still got my N64. I think I've got 2 N64s. Yes, I think my wife would kill me if I brought them all out of storage and started setting them up downstairs. But yeah,
wow, wires everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. That kind of leads us quite nicely onto the next piece of news, which is Nintendo. Speaking of Nintendo, they've joined up with Universal Studios, to put Nintendo-themed rides and Nintendo-themed worlds into Universal Parks. So the Universal Studios in Florida, which is just an amazing place, where I spent my 40th birthday. It's absolutely superb. I mean, so they're going to be putting Nintendo-themed rides. They're going to have characters there. So they already have the likes of Harry Potter, they've got Marvel already, they've got Jurassic Park, and now they're also going to add Nintendo as well. So it's just kind of, when I saw that news, I was very happy. So I was like planning my trip back to Florida. I think with all the Star Wars stuff that's coming out for the Disney side, and now Nintendo coming to theme parks, I think I'll give Florida a couple of years and then maybe start planning a trip back there, because I just think a Mario Kart racetrack or something like that would just be incredible, or a Luigi's Mansion, maybe a Luigi's Mansion, like a kind of haunted mansion type thing. It would just be, they could just go wild with it, couldn't they?
It certainly could. It'd definitely be worth visiting again in a few years, like you say. It'll be like a whole new place.
Absolutely.
And it does seem that Nintendo have decided to diversify, doesn't it?
Yeah, because they're also going mobile, aren't they? They reckon they're going to have about 5 games out before the end of next year. So, I mean, maybe they're just kind of waking up. Maybe they'll start branching out. I'm not convinced with them. I will play. I'll probably play anything Nintendo, but I don't really play games on my iPhone. I'm more kind of, I'll grab a 3DS or my Vita when I'm traveling. But you never know with Nintendo. They always do stuff and you just end up playing it anyway.
Yeah, and a new console earmarked for 2016.
Yep.
Or was it 2017?
Yep. So that could all lead into it, couldn't it? That's the Nintendo NX, isn't it? Which they're not talking about at this E3, they said. But I guess they'll probably save that for maybe things like Tokyo Game Show or anything like that. I mean, keeping on the Nintendo theme, actually they announced at 5 o'clock today, they announced that they're going to be doing their E3. They're going to be doing an E3 digital event. They don't do kind of a show anymore, do they? But there was quite a funny little kind of clip with Reggie, with young Reggie. So they're going to be doing a digital event on the 16th of June. That's kind of the Tuesday after that Mad Monday where everybody gets their pre-shows. So there's going to be the 16th of June, Tuesday at 5 p.m. UK time. So maybe we'll get to see Mario Maker and maybe a few others as well. So that should be, I love E3 and love watching all those conferences. And, it's a shame that Nintendo are not there, but these digital events, they really work. I think Nintendo have really got them down pat.
Yeah, the digital. It was the first time they did it, I think, last E3, and the tongue-in-cheek delivery, the way that they did it, I just thought it was great. I thought it trumped the other two. I thought, it trumped Sony and Microsoft with a serious sort of corporate stage events, and I just thought, that's a good way of doing it, and it's a lot cheaper than Nintendo. You just stay at home.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, check out Nintendo.com for Reggie's movie. It's very funny. You see him getting training and getting ready for the event of using all of like old Nintendo stuff, even that VR, the VR headset thing that they had, the first 3D one, the Nintendo Boy or whatever it was called.
Oh yeah. Virtual Boy. I think.
That's it. They've even got that as well. It's quite funny. You have to.
Oh wow. Yeah, and that Reggie, he's not afraid to have a laugh at himself, is he?
No, not at all.
But the thing is with Nintendo, you Nintendo and everything. Nintendo can't do any wrong. They get the netcode right. They do a beta for a game, and it all works swimmingly well, and all the rest of it. And when they do bring out a game, it's great. But the Wii U, man, they're not bringing many games out. They bring out, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but there's this thing called the Cat's Mario Show that you get through the Wii U store, and it's like a 10-minute thing every so often. And it's like meant to be a news and views thing about what's coming out. And I swear for the last 6 months, it's just been Super Mario 3D World and Super Smash Brothers.
Right.
And it's like, well, where is the content? I mean, have they just decided to draw a line under it and hold it for the NX? I mean, Bayonetta, that was a good move, but it's a shame about that, really. That it's a platform that not many people have got, so. That will have probably sold a few systems with the Bayonetta fan base because it's not an expensive system to buy. But where is the content for the Wii U? That's what I ask myself.
No, absolutely. I mean, like they had Mario Kart, they've delayed Zelda. But the problem is with Nintendo is when they don't have a lot of content, but when they do bring that content out, you just love them all over again, don't you? You just like they bring out a game, it's colourful, it makes all the right noises, it plays well, and you just end up just kind of loving them all over again, and you forgive them for a while, and then you finish playing with that, and then you're like, okay, what's next? What can I have next? So give me my next fix. But
yeah. I mean, I'm praying at the moment. I don't think it's going to happen because I'm sort of learning to be more cautious with my hopes and dreams. But that maybe the NX could, because they've got so much money from the success of the Wii, and maybe the NX is going to be something mind blowing, like the N64 was. I'm just thinking, could it be something that looks that good? Because they've got the edge here. They've got PS4 and Xbox One out of the door. The technology is going to be twice as good and half the price according to Moore's law. So. Could it be something special?
Absolutely. I guess we'll have to wait and find out for that one. So, what's top on your news list then, Darren?
I sort of got caught up in Microsoft HoloLens when I saw the demonstrations of it at Build event. Have you watched any of the videos on Microsoft HoloLens, Antony, at all?
I have indeed. I was the same as you. I was following it live. I sat through that the Microsoft presentation, and when they started bringing out HoloLens, I was kind of losing my nut. Yeah. I think the cool kids say, I loved it. I think the potential of kind of walking around with those specs on, maybe looking a little bit of a fool, but what you could see, I was just, if that is a reality, if what they were showing, was actually a reality, I could definitely get behind some of that.
Yeah, well, I was amazed, and I was like, look at this. I was like telling everyone about it. I was like, this is the future. Imagine how it's going to change things. Imagine how it's going to change school and teaching. Imagine in history how you could be in the trenches if you're doing World War One. Imagine in biology you can have a heart there and be looking at it and dismantling it and dissecting it and all these. Or you could be shrunk and then like a Think Fantastic Journey or Inner Space and go inside and like view the body from the inside, and all these different brain surgeons could practice all this stuff. I mean, gaming, and I was just like, this is going to be amazing. I was really excited and everything. Then all of a sudden, I think it was The Verge did an article, and one of the journalists actually said, because you weren't allowed to when you were using the demo unit, you weren't allowed to take any pictures or any phones or anything in there. And everything I read said it was amazing. And then all of a sudden, I saw this write-up that said, basically, it's not as good as you think. And there's an article on The Verge called, if I can just find it, just give me a sec. I think I'll shut it down.
They were showing demos of like being on Mars and stuff like that, weren't they? They were and they looked incredible.
Yeah, and and it did look incredible. And this is the thing, okay? So they can do that, and the Mars is there, and it was mapped from the pod that's on Mars, wasn't it? So it was always like real Mars that you were on. It's like really amazing. Now, the only thing is, when they were showing it you through a camera, weren't they? That showed it on a screen what the person was seeing. They never mentioned that the field of view in reality on that unit is probably about a third of what it showed on the camera that was giving you the idea. So it's sort of, if you imagine your field of view, and then if you draw like a little rectangle in the middle, that's all you can see. That's where you'll see the holograms. So they're not all around you. They're not all around you like that. You know, you've got a little sweet spot that you have to look at. And so if you've got like Mars, everything outside of a rectangle that's sort of
right,
everything, out of the middle of your vision, it would just be normal. So the holograms don't come out of this sweet spot, this rectangle. But if you just look on if you just search for demo videos for HoloLens are basically all OI from Verge, then you can read about it. And there's some really, it's harder to explain than it is to see in a picture, but there's some good pictures that basically show the conference and what was being shown. And they actually show what you could actually see the holograms in, where the hologram's visible and where the hologram isn't visible.
So I'm not going to be able to play Minecraft on my coffee table like they were showing?
Well, you will be able to, but you'd have to be looking directly at your coffee table.
Right.
And it's not going to be going all over the room like it shows. But it is, but you'd have to move your focus. You have to move your whole head, and wherever you're looking at will show it, but then what you were looking at will disappear.
Right. Okay.
It's a bit like you've got a magic magnifying glass in the middle of your nose or whatever, about 2 inches from your nose, and whatever you look through that will show it.
Yeah.
Will show the holograms, but everything else is not there. So the field of view, basically, and I'm not saying, it's still an amazing achievement, but why not just be honest? And I got really annoyed because I started remembering Kinect and Milo. Do you remember the Milo demo?
Yes, the creepy demo from Peter Molyneux.
Yeah, and I don't know, he sort of gave him some paper and he took it into the game and he wrote something on it in Reddit or whatever it was. It was really amazing. It's like, wow, this is the future. And look what happened with Kinect. It's rubbish.
But they nailed it with a few games. There was, the stuff that Rare were doing kind of really helped, like with the Kinect Sports and stuff like that. They were good fun, weren't they? The fact that it was tracking your body completely, that was good technology at the time, and it's still. I still use my Kinect now. I kind of walk into my my movie room and I'm always shouting at my Xbox to turn on. But you're right. I hope HoloLens. It's still very early, but they did say that NASA would be using it, didn't they? Before the end of this year, they'd be using it and testing it for Microsoft.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, it's just everything's one step at a time, and I appreciate that. But why not just front it up at the start, and instead of the videos, upload the videos, but then say, yeah, it's not like this yet. This is where we're looking to be in so many years. At the moment, it's here.
I might check out that Verge article just to have a look.
But as you can see, this is fantastic. Not really great for a consumer, but this is where we're starting, and this is where we aim to be here by this time. And then you'd be like, yeah, that's great, fantastic. Instead of them making out. I mean, they didn't not say it. They didn't say it, but they didn't. Do you know what I mean? They didn't say it is this.
Absolutely.
But then they didn't say it isn't this as well. So they just left you to assume. And I don't know. It makes me not so surprised about the cynicism that you see on the internet and in the forums and what have you when things like that happen. Because you just have a disclaimer. Just say at the start, this is what they're actually seeing. Because the way it's portrayed is that they're seeing this world of holograms, and I was well sucked in. I'm just naive, obviously. But I thought Microsoft, I just thought, wow, this is it, they've nailed it, they've brought out, because I'm always waiting for the next big thing. I sort of want it, I want it that much. And then you find out, actually, it's a 2x3 rectangle in front of your eyes that you'll be able to see, and everything else is just normal. And it's like, that's rubbish. It's like an N-gauge. Well, it's not like an N-gauge, but it's like the equivalent of it. Well, it's maybe not, but you know what I mean. It's a disappointment is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I know what you mean, because one of the demos showed they were cooking and there was all the ingredients and the method kind of was just floating there in the kitchen. For me, I love cooking. I love kind of like baking and stuff. So for me, that would have just been awesome. I would have just been there, HoloLens on. I don't have to turn a page and get all my cookbook sort of grubby. I'd just be there and just kind of going through it and just kind of gesturing with my sticky hands every now and then. Just gesturing to go down the page or get the next ingredients. And I just thought that was just amazing. And that blew me away. There was a guy walking around in the kitchen, and there was forecasts, and there was a TV that he was making big. And I just thought, if they if they can deliver 75% of what they're promising, then this is something special. And as you're saying, they haven't even, apart from that Minecraft demo, they haven't really kind of touched on the gaming aspects of it. I was blown away with was it Illuma Room, I think it was called.
Illumi Room, Illuma Room, you needed 1,000 projectors, didn't you?
See, that would have been amazing. I've got quite a square kind of room that we game in, our movie room, so it's quite square. So a Illuma Room would have been perfect in that.
Yeah, wow, yeah, and I thought that looked really cool again. But they fronted up with that one. They said it was just a concept. They said this is not really a thing for a consumer. This is more about what tech that we're messing about with, trying to work out where we're going from there. And I'm quite happy with that. They didn't do that with HoloLens. I felt with HoloLens they were saying, this is what you're going to have, and this is what it's going to be like from sort of day one. And I just wish they would have just said, it won't be like that from day one, but this is where we're going to with it. So
no, indeed,
yeah. And I don't think it's been publicised very much to the people. Well, maybe the people that know about HoloLens would have found out about it, but I found that information by accident. And all the write-ups that I read when I was excited, apart from this one, were all gushing and saying it was amazing. And that annoys me, because if I was a journalist, I'd be saying, yeah, it's amazing, but it's only like a rectangle in front of your eyes that you can see. You can only see the holograms within this set parameters in front of you and everything out of that. Surely that's quite important.
I'm surprised because I read the Wired article about HoloLens, and they didn't say anything about that. They were just, like you say, they were very positive, and it just seemed like it was a very future tech. I think it was a couple, it's a good couple of years away from before consumers get hold of it. But it was good tech. It was getting there, a bit like kind of Oculus Rift and things like that. It's one of those things that will be with developers first, and then you can buy a kit if you want, but the actual kit will be available in a few years' time.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's think. Another news item that I've come across this week. Yeah, in the Middle East, they're selling The Witcher 3 early.
Oh, that fills me with anger. I want that game so much. Really?
Apparently.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They've broken the street date. I don't know why. There was no reason to say why. It's just probably because they thought, we'll just sell it. So you can watch it. It's up there. People are switching it. There'll be YouTube videos. I mean, I've pretty much been blind on it anyway. I've not been reading previews. Certainly, I've been watching. Let's watch the first 35 minutes of The Witcher 3 because I don't want to do that because I want to be. I want to be a Witcher 3 virgin when I start this experience. But it's sort of out there, a week early for people that want it. I don't know, there might be copies on eBay. Because of it's in the Middle East, I think it's been slightly censored, some of the full frontal nudity or something, but it wouldn't deteriorate from the game, would it? But yeah, they've done that, and I don't really know what recourse CD Projekt Red would have on that. I think they'll probably just have to say, well, never mind.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not the people playing it. It's not their fault. It's the people selling it, isn't it? Microsoft and PlayStation have done stuff like that before, where they say that if you manage to get hold of a copy of Game X before, then good luck to you. But it's the people that sell it that I think kind of get a bit of a knuckle rap about it. So. But yeah, no, I'm glad I've been kind of staying away from Twitch and stuff like that because I do not want that game spoiled. I want to, when I boot it up, like the same as you, I've seen previews, I've read the previews, I've looked at the kind of, this is what the world looks like, and I'm convinced, I'm all in. So I just want to get my headphones on and just jump into that world and just enjoy it.
Have you got it pre-ordered?
I have indeed, yes. I've actually digital download. So I've got the digital download on Xbox One, and so it's ready. It's there. It's waiting for 12 o'clock on the. I think it's Monday night, isn't it? It's Monday. Well, it'll be Tuesday morning, the 9th when it comes out.
Wow! Oh wow! Yeah, I can't wait. I've got mine on pre-order for PS4, and I'm just hoping that it just comes. I don't mind about a day early, but just on the day. Just come on the day, and I'll be happy.
Yes, absolutely. My next piece of news, quite an interesting one. This is something that I've been following for a while, and this is Yooka-Laylee. Now, Yooka-Laylee, for those who don't know, Yooka-Laylee is an all-new 3D platformer from the guys behind Banjo-Kazooie, the guys behind Donkey Kong Country. Even those two just scream quality. And this is just gorgeous. They showed a quick before they kind of put it up on Kickstarter, they showed a level where you got Yuka and Laylee. So Yuka is like a green lizardy guy, and Laylee is a little lady bat who kind of sits on his head and enables him to fly, a bit like kind of Banjo-Kazooie. And the environment was put together by Stephen Hurst. Now, Stephen Hurst, he's the guy behind Banjo-Kazooie. He's one of the designers on possibly the most amazing game, which is Viva Pinata. I won't get on my little Viva Pinata trip just yet. I'll save that for another show. But so I mean, you look at this game, and it just screams rare, and it's amazing. And I was kind of one of the ones who backed it. I think at the start they wanted like 175,000, and it was really interesting. I was there waiting at 5 o'clock, and I was like, "Yeah, I want to back this game. I want this game to be made." And then within about like 24 hours, they were up to 1 million. You kept getting. I was following them on Twitter. It was quite exciting, really. I was following them on Twitter, and now they're up to 1.5 million. So they're up to like 1.5 million, and they have 49,000 backers. So they've got 49,000. I'm just on the website now. They've got 49,382 backers. There's still 34 days to go, and they've actually. It's really funny because they started with about 10 stretch goals, saying if we get to 1 million, we'll simultaneous release on Wii U, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and then when they broke that million quite soon after the Kickstarter went live, they just kept adding different stretch goals. One of my favourite stretch goals, I think, was when they got to about 1.1 million or 1.5 million. It was they added N64 shaders. So this was N64 shader mode, which will make this kind of gorgeous game look like an N64 game, and it also includes a GK wrap from the guy who did the DK wrap. They've got one more stretch goal which they're putting, and that's if they get to 2 million, then there's going to be some DLC that's going to be free for backers. So I just can't. I mean, I don't know how long this game is away. They've only been developing it for about 3 months now, so I'm sure it's going to be next year, but I can't wait. I didn't know that I missed 3D platformers so much until I started seeing this. It made me want to go back and play Banjo-Kazooie, Nuts and Bolts. It made me want to play Donkey Kong Country, which is on the Wii U store. It just looks great, and it just screams rare. It is rare. It's those rare 3D platforms that that they'll get back to. But it looks gorgeous. Have you seen any of the stuff that's been online about it?
Yeah, it's all really positive. It looks fantastic, and I'm looking forward to it. And it looks like it's a Kickstarter done right at this stage, doesn't it? And it's flown through its goal. It's onto the stretch goals. Does it show? Do they estimate a release?
They don't. They did have a estimated delivery, I think, of like October 2016. I'll just go back to their website. Yes, they've got an estimated delivery October 2016. Okay. And now that they've reached their 1 million, it's going to come out, because before it was just destined to come out on PC first, and then they were going to do the consoles afterwards. But now it's now going to get released on everything.
Fantastic, yeah, it looks really good. And this is some of the I tell you what, I'd love it, an extra stretch. They won't be able to do it because the licensing is in sort of licensing hell, but playable GoldenEye within it. You'll have a little N64 in a room, and you can go on it, and then all of a sudden you're playing N64 GoldenEye. Wow, wouldn't that be great?
That would be superb. But you can't help thinking that maybe like kind of Sony or Microsoft are knocking on these guys' doors and trying to get some of their platform characters into this game as a DLC. Because you imagine playing this as, I don't know, Ratchet and Clank, or playing this as some other character. Because Microsoft at the moment, the Xbox One, doesn't really have that mascot that it used to have. It used to have quite a lot of kind of those little kind of cute characters. There was Banjo-Kazooie, there was Horstachios, there was all the pinatas, and they had a lot of those, and they don't really have one at the moment, apart from obviously Master Chief, and I don't think Master Chief would lend himself very well to kind of jumping around with something flapping on his back. But no, I can't wait for this game, and I love the stuff that this company Playtonic are doing, and I was very close to spending a lot of money What I did do was just go for that kind of, I'm getting a T-shirt, I've got the game, but I was very close. They had one that actually came in an N64 case, which I was very tempted. But I didn't. I restrained myself. So I held back. But it looks good, and I can't wait for it to come out.
Surely whoever was managing or is managing the remnants of Rare at Microsoft kicking themselves.
Maybe it will just make them come back stronger, and they'll go, do you know what? We need to do this. There's, Phil Spencer's been wearing Battletoad T-shirts. Give Battletoads to Rare. That would be fantastic. Rare they've always done some amazing stuff. I love Rare, not just because they're an English developer, but the stuff that they do is just amazing. And I'll say it again, Viva Pinata, Trouble in Paradise is just, a perfect game, and I bloody love that game so much. But and let's hope that they just kind of get back to where they were. Let's focus on that, because even the Kinect sports games, they looked good. The one thing you can't take away from Rare is it's a Rare game, and it always looks pretty special.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do. He fills me with faith, Phil Spencer. I must say, I've got confidence in him. You can. I feel that I can sense his passion, which I couldn't with Mr. Matic. Don Matrick. Yeah.
Don Matrix. I don't know, yeah, but absolutely. But no, I enjoy listening to Phil Spencer when he's been on a few podcasts that I listen to. He's a bright man. He's a gamer. He plays games. He knows what he wants to play. He knows the vision. And I think, he's seeing that there's gaps in their portfolio, which is why they're doing this. That's why they threw a lot of money at Tomb Raider, because they don't have an Uncharted. So they need something like Tomb Raider, which is, the last one was fantastic. So they need something like that to just fill that gap, And you only had to look at last year's lineup, Christmas lineup, this year, the holiday lineup, as they call it. It's looking impressive. It's looking pretty impressive. More impressive than kind of PlayStation or Nintendo now, because a lot of their games are slipping into 2016.
Yeah, I was looking forward to Uncharted 4, and that slipped over. I don't know what I'm looking forward to now, to be honest. My Christmas game has disappeared. I'm hoping for No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky would be amazing. Halo 5, you've got Halo 5, don't forget.
Yeah, Halo 5, yeah. That's November, is it?
It is indeed. I sound like such a Xbox fanboy, but it's funny, isn't it? It's just like, I have a PS4, but at the moment, the games that are drawing me are just over there on Xbox land. It's strange, because there's no games on Xbox that are drawing me at all. It's really bizarre, isn't it? It's just like... Which is multi-platform. But as for exclusives, is No Man's Sky multi-platform? I don't know. I think it's exclusive to PlayStation and PC. I think it might be a timed exclusive, though. Yeah. So, but yeah, I will consult my release list for next week, and I'll list what I'm looking forward to. I want to play on my Xbox. It's just that there's no exclusives. Yeah, Halo 5, fair enough. But if it's not got Master Chief and Cortana in it, as the main draw, I think I might be skipping it, because the only reason I played Halo 4 was because I like Master Chief and Cortana. I'm not even bothered anymore about the shooting. I just played through it to like, because I like their relationship, sort of like a love story or something. I was like, can't they get together somehow? And then it was really sad at the end. It's like a soap opera for me. You do realise there's a man and an AI that you want to get together. There must be a way. There must be a way. It does, he plugs her into the back of his head. Exactly. But yeah, so from what I've read about Halo 5, I don't know, I'm not optimistic. But again, I'm getting very, very fussy. I'm getting very fussy about my games. You're just getting sceptical in your old age. I think you're right. I'm like, that's not worth my time. That's not worth what? No Master Chief. Talk about setting your ways. No Master Chief, I'm not interested. That's not the right way, is it? You'll just need to have like Master Chief. You'll just need to have Master Chief HoloLens. So whatever you play just has Master Chief in it, whether it's like Bloodborne or it's Dragon
Animal
Age
Crossing,
or whatever.
If it's not got Master Chief, it's not canon.
Absolutely. Farming simulator, That's actually coming out on Farming Simulator 15. It's coming out on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I saw it the other day in a kind of a lineup of what's coming out, and there was Farming Simulator 15, and I'm tempted. There were just it just made me feel nerdy. It was just like there is animal husbandry. One of the things that you can do in Farming Simulator 15 is animal husbandry, and if that doesn't sell a game, I don't know what will.
It's supposed to be pretty good.
Get me on another subject, Darren. You got any other news? What else has happened this week?
The only thing that I was going to run through was the PS Plus releases.
What's on that? What can tempt me over to that PlayStation, my dusty PlayStation?
I'll tell you something, they're not always great, but they're pretty generous on the amount of games they give you over on PS Plus. It's a ridiculous amount of games. I had to go through my hard drive just because of all the free games. So what we've got this month is a game called Ether 1, which is first-person puzzle 'em up, if you like, adventure and explore through from what I can see. I mean, it doesn't look amazing. It's sort of the textures and the graphical style sort of reminds me of I don't know, BioShock 1-ish, in the quality, not in the areas. I've only played it for about half an hour, but it sounds quite good actually. It's sort of an explore and solve the puzzles sort of game, and the premise seems to be, from my first steps into it, that you are in a place that's trying to cure dementia. I think you sort of go into a dementia sufferer's brain or mind, and you explore around, and that's visually displayed as an area, whatever the confused person was thinking about. So, it could be fields or whatever. And I think you've got to, I don't know for sure, because I didn't play that much of it, but what I was picking up was that by solving puzzles within the area, just the visualization of the dementia sufferer's mind, that maybe you could heal them. Maybe this is a way of healing these confused people, and I thought that was pretty cool. So that's Ether 1. That
sounds a bit like Everybody's Gone to the Rapture as well, because that's a game I've got my eye on, which is, I think, coming out later this year. And that's kind of PS4 exclusive, and that looks interesting.
Another interesting PS4 exclusive then.
Yeah, there you go. It'll be dusty no more.
And then there's Hohoken.
Right.
Which, that's on... Ether 1 is just PS4. Hohoken's PS4, PS3 and PS Vita. So you are a sort of snake, like a worm thing, and you control it with the left stick, and you basically can just slither your way around really smoothly and really nicely around a black background. It sort of reminds me a bit of Nobby Nobby Boy or Flow in the way that
yep.
In its style, Nobby Nobby Boy, but in the way you control it, it's a bit like Flow. And you just it's just a mellow game, You just it doesn't tell you anything at the start. It just expects you to just pick it up and explore, and that's what it's about. You just move your worm around. Feels really nice. You can sweep it around and make all sorts of shapes, and you can pick up other worms that all travel with you. So you get all these lines, all these different coloured lines, and you can make shapes and things. I think that's all it is for. It's just to have a bit of fun with, have a bit of a relax and a chill out with.
That sounds like a good commute game for me. That sounds I'm going to download that on my Vita, have a play. Give me a break from Shovel Knight.
Yeah.
But that sounds really good. That sounds a bit like kind of the same premise that we had when Katamari Damacy came out. It was just like we don't know what we're doing, but it's just amazing, and you just roll it around for a bit.
Yeah, I mean I haven't played enough. I mean imagine that it could be another Katamari, because I absolutely love Katamari Damacy.
Oh, that's so awesome.
But it does remind me of that, and it also puts me in mind of Loco Roco as well. Do you remember that?
Oh, yes, absolutely. That was awesome.
So, yeah, that's got to be worth a little bit of time, especially for free. Guacamelee Super Turbo Championship Edition on PS4. I actually got that for ages ago, because it was a release on Xbox One, Games with Gold, and it's a good game. It's a sort of Metroidvania type platformer, 2D platformer, and you play the part of a wrestler who gets killed and reincarnated and goes on a revenge mission to save his girlfriend, from what I can make out. But it's really cool. The art style sort of I don't know how to explain it really. It's sort of that Mexican wrestling anime, if you like, and it's just really cool. It's a good game, and it's a long game. And Yeah. So I'd recommend definitely. That's probably the pick of the bunch this month, I'd say. If I wish I didn't have it, so that I could be, hooray, I've got this, but I already have it, so it didn't have the impact that it would have. But that's a great game. If you want to have some 2D platforming fun where you get more and more power-ups as you go along that help you explore more areas, then go and have a slice of Guacamelee Super Turbo Championship Edition. It's really good. The other one, Unfinished Swan, PS4, PS3 and PS Vita.
I love that game so much. Unfinished Swan, I have played that on PS3, PS4 and also Vita. Have you played it? It actually reminded me when you were talking about Splatoon earlier. The Unfinished One kind of reminded me of that because that's it. You're kind of throwing paint around.
It's very like it, yeah. The way that you thought, the way that it hits the edges. I've only played that again. I got them all and I played them all for about an hour each. I felt it wasn't as good as I expected because I nearly bought this. And when it was announced, because I remember there was an announcement at E3 one year, and I was like, oh wow, this looks amazing, and I was so hyped for it. But I haven't played that much, and I think I've just come off Spelunky, and because it's so white, it started to make my eyes hurt, and I was like, oh, I can't do this. I need to go to bed, and I haven't put it on since. But I love the art style. I love the idea, an original idea. They don't come along very often.
Absolutely. I mean, spoiler alert: you do get other colours.
No, that's it now. I'm not going to bother. You ruined it.
there are other colours available.
I know there's yellow because you get the swan's feet. Sort of
yes, but no, just I mean, if the one thing Guacamelee is awesome, but just keep on with Unfinished One because the payoff is just really well. It's just such a great, it's such a great heartfelt game, and it just I love it. I'm sitting on the train. It's quite funny. You do get a few looks. You're sitting on the train. There's just a white screen. You're just looking at a white screen, but I have this huge grin on my face as I'm playing it. It's amazing.
I love that.
It's really good.
Like, well, you don't know what you're on about, mate. You're obviously not tuned in. I know what I'm doing. I've got my own phone.
Exactly. I don't care. I've just got a great big grin on my face. I think that was me when I was playing Guacamelee on the Vita because it came out on the Vita before it went over to Xbox One. And I remember just kind of sitting on the train and I had my headphones in and I didn't know that I actually had my Vita turned right up so everybody in the carriage could hear this crazy Guacamelee music because I was listening to a podcast, I think, and everyone on the train could just hear Guacamelee, but no one said anything for about 20 minutes. It was very funny.
Did you style it out when you realised?
Yeah, I was just kind of put my head down, chuckled a bit, and then turned it down. So,
excellent. So yeah, that's a really cool game and really cool for free, and it's one that it's not rubbish. That's a good game that could have sold on its own merits without having to go free. So they do give some good stuff out. So I will put some more time into that. And what you said then about sort of heartfelt stories, did you get to play A Tale of Two Brothers at all?
Do you know what? I didn't get to play that, and that's one of the games that because I dusted off my Xbox 360 a couple of weeks ago, and I did download it because I think it was a Games of Gold 1 week or 1 month, and I did download it, so I've bagged it on my account, so I'm going to play that because I'm hearing so many good things. Even a couple of years after it's been released, people are still talking about that game and still kind of referencing back to it, so I just kind of feel like I need to kind of have a play with it. Was it good?
Yeah. I only got about halfway and then I got distracted by another game, embarrassingly enough. But it was just when you said about the emotional payoff, apparently there's a massive one in that game. I got distracted. I don't know what it would have been at the time. Thinking back, Tale of Two Brothers, I don't know, but it would have been something like equivalent to like Bioshock Infinite or something like that came out.
Yes.
And I just find it hard to fit the time, get the time to play everything. So yeah, Unfinished One, a good call for free. Next one is an endless runner, if you like. Race the Sun on PS4, PS3 and PS Vita. Basically, it's a bit like Person, sort of like a Star Wings kind of thing. You're flying forward on rails virtually, and there's loads of skyscrapers and things, sort of a nice stylistic, filled in vectors, silvery graphics, and you've just got to, I think, keep going as fast as you can before the day runs out. It'll be like Tiny Wings, but from a first-person perspective and in a spaceship instead of being a bird in a 2D game on the iPad. But yeah, it's pretty cool. To be honest, I'll probably be getting rid of it off my PS4. I don't know, there was something about it that didn't grab me. I don't know what it was, but I just had a go, and I was like, yeah, I expected it to be better from the description. This sort of endless runner type game, I just expected it to have more of an addictive quality because it's sort of a pick up and play game, and I was like, it didn't grab me straight away. So it didn't get through my I don't know, 10-minute threshold that I've got for some of these games occasionally. The other game that I don't know anything about is a Vita game, so I don't know if you've heard of it, Murasaki Baby.
I have heard about it, and I saw it. It's quite funny because I think it's Vita only, isn't it? I remember seeing it on the Vita store, and I hovered over it. I was very close to kind of, I'm going to get this, but I didn't. I'm glad that's out on PSN now, so I can grab it. So it does look a bit freaky, but it looks fun.
It does. It looks a bit like a coloured in Limbo from the one screenshot that I'm looking at now. That's no bad thing.
No, what a great way to describe it. It's like Limbo, but with colour. It's superb. And I think cool. The last, is that it for the PSN? I think I'm going to fire up the PS4 after this and download some of those and bag them, I think, while they're there.
May as well. And, even if you just get them and then delete them
later.
Get them at a later date.
Indeed. The last piece of news that I've got, the last piece of news for our news section, our first news section, is Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed got announced. The new Assassin's Creed got announced yesterday. I watched the reveal. They had a YouTube reveal yesterday, and it's called Assassin's Creed Syndicate. It was, I think it was leaked at December that it was going to be London, that it was going to be after the Industrial Revolution London, and it's London in 1868. It's coming out on October 23rd on PC, PS4 and Xbox One. You've got two playable characters. They're twins, so there's a chap called Jacob and his sister Evie Fry. So they've kind of learnt from one of their mistakes from last year where they didn't have any female characters, even though they were doing co-op. They had like 4 characters and there wasn't a single female character. So with this one, there's no co-op. They've kind of they've abandoned that co-op. It's single player only, and you play as a gang leader, but you will kind of interchange between the two characters throughout the story. It looks amazing. The reveal. There was a bit of pre-rendered alpha stuff, and there was alpha build as well. It looked amazing. The Cockney accents are great. Lots of
wow.
Apples and pears. There was lots of kind of. It made me, being from that area originally, being from the pride of London. It was quite funny. Made me laugh. It was very. I loved all the Cockney accents. It was very cool. But do you know what? I'm quite excited. I always get excited about Assassin's Creed, and I always kind of play them. I always get them as they're always my Christmas game when I'm playing. So I always kind of play them, kind of enjoy the story play, and then a story mode, and then I just don't really kind of go around picking everything off. But this one looks quite good. It looks fantastic. They do wonders. Still worried about the whole kind of jumping up and down buildings and because some other games do it well. Assassin's Creed, I tend to bump into a lot of buildings, but this looks good. I'm hoping they'll show more at E3. Maybe they'll show a multiplayer mode or another cooperative side. But yesterday it was quite a nice reveal. It was classily done. There's some good stuff. There were lots of positive feedback after it as well. There was lots of kind of positive comments. So yeah, let's hope they've learned from their mistakes from last year. We won't have any scary looking faces like we did in Assassin's Creed Unity, which I think they kind of in a roundabout way apologised for during the reveal as well. But yeah, no, it could be good. I'm looking forward to it. So that's October 23rd. Wow,
they sort of have to get this one right from right from the off. They've got to get this one right to just glean some part of a good reputation that they've just been. How could they keep making these mistakes? It just baffles me. But this is an opportunity for them to put that right. For me, I hate to say it and sort of hold that pin against your bubble, but is it not just a reskin? Is it not just a reskin of every other Assassin's Creed game? It's just a reskin. They took the same game. They put, all right, there might be prettier textures on of London. Woo.
And Cockney accents.
Yeah, but they had them for the French people, didn't they? In Unity, from what I read, it's like it wasn't like, oh, that's Sacre Bleu. How's it going? It was that from what I hear. But I didn't play Unity. I'm that against Unity that it's £8 from cdkeys.com. You can get it for like $8.99 or something. I can't even be bothered to get it for $8.99.
Wow.
Because I sort of nearly did. Because I used to enjoy them. I enjoyed the first one. I eliminated any of the spin-offs, Revelations and all that, or whatever they are. I eliminated all them. I couldn't be bothered, so I did the first one, and I liked it. And I loved the hype leading towards that because it had never been done. And I liked the second one, and the third one with Connor. That was the one with Connor, wasn't it? I liked that too, and I completed that one. And I loved the way that started in Covent Garden as well. That was well cool. especially as I think I was working there at the time. Anyway, it was well cool anyway. And I liked Black Flag because I was sort of waiting for something new, and I thought with the ships they did it, with the pirates. I think that was great, and the pirate battles and the open seas, and I thought, and the shanties, and I was like, that's great. But I'll tell you something, I did think it was brilliant, but I couldn't be bothered to complete the game. I really found that I just lost interest in the story, and I didn't know what was going on in the story by, to be honest, the middle of Assassin's Creed 2. I sort of just couldn't be bothered. I thought that, I might be wrong, and even if it is the fact that I haven't been bothered reading it all within the game, it's the fact that I can't be bothered finding out anyway, because if I was that passionate I'd find out, like with Bloodborne, I can't wait to read about all the lore. You pick up the story of Bloodborne from the items and all these little hidden things within the game. I actually love the game, and I don't want to ruin any of the game, so I play it blind first, but then I'll be reading all about it, and I'll be getting the guide and stuff which explains all the lore about the place. But that's because I'm interested, because I love the game so much. I'm interested, I'm invested in it, and it never caught me. And I don't understand why, because it's everything that I love in a game: brilliant graphics and free roaming and running about. But for some reason, I got bored. Black Flag ignited it a little bit, and then from what I read about Unity, because they took away the sea battles and the piracy and all that, I was kind of like, well, is that not just a reskin of 3? And by the same token, is this new one not just a reskin of 4? Or 5, I should say. Unity was 5, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Sometimes I think they could just skip a year. Do you know what I mean? Like, kind of put extra development time in. They won't, because it's a cash cow for Ubisoft. But sometimes it's like, skip a year, get like a bit of interest behind it. You imagine if Assassin's Creed Syndicate was 2016, you'd be dying for it by the time that came out.
You would, you absolutely would, yeah. And why don't they do that? But you just said it exactly. You just hit the nail on the head. It sells. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that it's not polished. It sells in the droves. It is a cash cow for Ubisoft. It doesn't matter about the reputation with the small denomination of passionate gamers on the internet that might cry, "Oh no, it's not very good. You look at all this. It's not polished. They haven't taken pride in it." The majority of gamers aren't influenced by that. They just see it. They like it. They get it. It's fair enough. But surely they're getting a bit wary of it. It's getting like FIFA.
Absolutely. And Ubisoft, in that, as when people say it's not very good, Ubisoft just say, look at our big pile of cash that we're swimming in like Scrooge McDuck. So they're always going to make them. But, by looks of this reveal that they had yesterday, they've got multiple teams. They said they were working on this for 2 years. So they have kind of been putting some time into it. So it's not like we finish Unity and then we're straight on to the next one. So it looks like, like I say, I'll be getting it for Christmas, and I'll be playing it, but I'll wait to see kind of what it's like.
See, I envy you really, because I wish that I was invested in it, and I'd be like, yay, Christmas, Assassin's Creed. It's not Victory, is it? What is it again? Syndicate.
Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
Yeah,
yes.
I keep thinking it's Victory because of that leak. But yeah, I haven't got a Christmas game yet. I haven't got, there's nothing I want for Christmas. It's bad. It always used to be either a console, like last...
You'll get one. And don't forget, Battlefield, Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront, that's it. Get those words out. Yeah. That's coming out. That'll... and I'm definitely going to get that on the PS4, because I think a lot more people are kind of playing that over on the PS4. Seems to be a lot more kind of excitement of my kind of friends list on the PS4 than there is on the Xbox One at the moment. So I'm definitely going to get that PS4 and not play it on my own. So... So I think that's it. I think that about wraps up our news section, and probably about it for the podcast for this episode. So all that remains to say is a big thanks for listening. This has been the first Lost Spark podcast. I've really enjoyed it. I think it's been great fun. So you can keep up with us at gamersoftheLostSpark.com. We're also kind of saturating social media as well by the time this podcast comes out. And we're Gamers of the Lost Spark on Facebook, and iTunes as well. We're going to be on Twitter. We're at Lost Spark Pod, and we're going to be on Twitch. Either Darren or myself will be doing some streaming, doing some Let's Plays, maybe even Witcher 3, and we're on Lost Spark Podcast on Twitch. So Darren, where can we find you? Where can we find you online on Xbox and PS4?
Okay, well, my gamer tag is Wythermator on PS4, Xbox One, and Twitch. Well, I suppose the gamer tag only applies to Xbox One, but you get the gist. Wythermator is WYTHAMATOR. And on YouTube, I haven't got that many uploads, but I've recently been, because the PS4 can broadcast so easily, I've been uploading my successes to a YouTube channel, Dazza Gamer. So if you want to see me slowly chip away at a boss on Bloodborne. And there's a few things that I've done that I'm proud of, like on Spelunky and Rogue Legacy 2. Have a look on there. There's only about 14 things. But that will grow, that will increase as time goes by. But yeah, that's where you can get me. What about yourself, Anthony?
Mine's a little bit more confusing than yours. I'm Chessman on Xbox Live. I'm PS-Chessman on the PlayStation Network. And I'm Chessman UK on Twitter. So someone always gets there before me. No matter how quick I am with these things, someone always gets there before me. But so that's where you can find me on Xbox, PSN and Twitter. If you have any feedback, then please send it to our email address. The email address is feedback@gamersofalostspark.com. Keep an eye on our Twitter page, Lost Spark Pod, for more updates and upcoming episodes. Or you can subscribe in iTunes and have them delivered as soon as they're available. And other podcast suppliers will be coming soon. And if you're feeling generous, then please leave us a review or a rating on iTunes. It would be great to hear your feedback. And so that's it. That's it from me. So from Darren and myself, we'll see you and talk to you next week.
Yeah, next week, guys. Bye.
Cheers.